All right, and an unhappy Wednesday to all of you out there. Coming to you live once again from our humble abode. This is the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family. We thank you for joining us tonight from wherever you may be and whatever service you're using to tune in. So please, as always, pull up a chair, turn up the volume, use the company dime if you're stuck at work, crack open a cold one if you can, and let's have some fun as we put an end to day 3 of this week's hostage situation and look forward to tomorrow being Friday Eve. Over here in the room, Lou Mancini recognized the jersey right away. He says, "What's up, Al?" Yes, this is the Al Bundy Polk High football jersey. Keenan Harmon, breaking news, Modelo tops Bud Light as best-selling beer. I don't know how much breaking news that's going to be, but I'm not allowed to bash Bud Light on here, so I'm going to try to stay away from that one. Abel Trevino, what it do? Fly Eagles Fly from Fort Worth, Texas. Welcome aboard, brother. Good to have you here. Hope we can entertain you here for an hour or so this tonight, hour-ish. You know, never quite know how far we're going to go. David Califoot, what's up, brother? How's it going? I do enjoy all your anti-Yankees posts all week long. I'm surprised that wasn't the first thing that popped up here. So, anyways, hope you guys are having a good week. Again, as always, we're going to start the show off business as usual. Folks, if you're tuning in on Facebook or Twitter, please do not forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe to the Green Legion. If those services are where you are comfortable, we totally get it. But just to let you know, the YouTube channel is the best way to interact. That's, watch, listen, comment with any Green Legion radio show. So please do us a solid. Even if you want to stay on Twitter or on Facebook, go ahead over to YouTube when you get the chance. Search the Green Legion, click subscribe, click that little bell there for your notifications so you can know whenever the hell we go live. If you cannot catch any of our shows live, that's okay too. You can always watch or listen later on any of the services we just mentioned, but also on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. Speaking of Green Legion Radio, you guys know every Sunday, unless there's a scheduling conflict, every Sunday, 11 to 12, Chris Sack and Greg Murphy, Bud Light Baseball Brunch. If you are a Philadelphia Phillies fan, that is one show you definitely do not want to miss. I root for the Yankees, and I still do my best to not miss a show with Murph and Sack. They do a great job. Always very fun. They do ticket giveaways, based on voting for, everybody's favorite movie, favorite villain, stuff like that. It's always a really good time. They keep it moving. Lots of fun. What else do we got here? Green Legion Invasions, right? They're up. Folks, it's everywhere, okay? I don't know if Tampa's completely sold out now, but I know it's got to be getting close. So that's going to, if you were looking to go to Tampa, I would get on there quick, guys and girls. If you haven't already, get in there, get yourself signed up. If you wanted to, but trips are up for everywhere. LA, Kansas City, Tampa, the bus trips to the Swamp and down to DC, Dallas. So get signed up. And even if you don't want to do the full trip, there's always game day options, which are also available if you want to do self-travel. If you live in the areas I just mentioned and you're just waiting for the birds to come to town, check the Green Legion, greenlegion.com. Check out the tailgate only or ticket and tailgate options as well. Always a great time, folks. There is no better way to do an away trip, away tailgate, and even in the home tailgates too. There is no better way to do it than with the Green Legion. I've been at it for years with these folks. Started off as just a patron, got to meet them, became friends with a few folks, started participating when they started doing the Green Legion radio on, especially with Streamyard. And now here I am talking to all of you with the Unhappy Gilmore Show. So it's a great group. And then there's groups within the group. There is no way, if you can't have fun at a Green Legion trip or Green Legion tailgate or whatever, then there's something wrong with you. You're not doing it right. Okay. I don't know how else to tell you that. All right. So get yourself signed up there. All the home tailgates are up as well. So if you're looking at tickets, if you've got tickets to a game later this year already, if there's a game you're targeting, if you just want to go and have a tailgate experience near Lincoln Financial Field, the Green Legion is the way to go. Tailgate at Xfinity Live, right outside of the link. So get yourself signed up. As far as us, folks, we are, what do we got here? How many days away now? I think it's 29. And 28. So 28 and a half, right? The countdown is on. We're 4 weeks away from the trip to Philadelphia. And for a while, we were thinking both of my brothers and their families were going to come to Philly to meet up with us on that Sunday. Sounds like that's not going to happen now. My niece, she's got a huge swimming competition she's going to be taking part in that weekend, so that's probably going to take them out of the mix, which is okay too. We're planning a big trip to go back home to Connecticut in August of next year, and so we'll be able to spend it. Just make next year's trip all the much more sweet. But 4 weeks away for us here, we are coming to Philadelphia. We will get in. It's starting to look like we're going to be able to leave in the morning on that Thursday. So we're hoping to get in late afternoon. I know that the I-95 collapse there has caused traffic problems. We will likely be on 76 all the way in and then across the river into South Jersey. So hopefully that doesn't mess us up too much. Look, anytime I go anywhere near a major city, I just always assume there's going to be some kind of mess of the traffic. I don't know if Quimby can see the direction we're coming in. I don't think he can see where we're coming from his roost up there. But yeah, so we'll be coming in hopefully late afternoon. So that means hopefully probably do dinner close by to where we're staying on that Thursday night. Probably gonna be a little worn out. It's a long drive. But then that Friday we'll be up, refreshed, ready to go. So definitely time to start looking at. We're going to be here for lunch. We're going to be here for dinner on that Friday, and then again on the Sunday. So the Saturday is the baseball day for the boys and I. We go to the Citizens Bank for the 1:00 game against the Phils, which Chris Sack has told me is Bryce Harper NLCS championship ring replica giveaway. I know it's a mouthful, but I think that's what he had told me. So that should be fun. We'll get our giveaway there. Got to get my daughter Philly Fanatic stuffed animal. We'll get our passport book stamped. I left the book downstairs. And then enjoy at least most of the ball game before we hop back in the car and drive an hour and a half south to Baltimore, where we will hit the 7 p.m. Orioles game at Camden Yards. And that'll be the stuffed animal Oriole for my daughter. I think the giveaway is like Orioles soccer jersey that night. I don't know, something lame. But it's still a giveaway. It's free stuff. I like free stuff, right? So do my kids. Again, passport stamped. Oh, and we also do the ice cream mini helmets, right? The ice cream sundae and the mini helmets at every ballpark. I don't eat it. But the boys each get one. And the mini helmets kind of also commemorate, every stadium that they have been to. So that'll be fun. That Sunday, now that my brothers look to not be coming into town, I intend to have the whole family over to Xfinity Live on Sunday in the hopes to catch baseball brunch live, so that the boys and my wife and my daughter can meet Chris, maybe even Murph if he's got a second to say hello. I know he's a very busy man, but it'd be cool to see that live, and get down there. So we're going to look to do that on Sunday morning and then go have lunch. And then the rest of the day will be spent doing whatever the hell we couldn't do in Philly on Friday. And then Monday, I don't know. Monday we may stick around Philly again because the Babe Ruth Museum, Lou Mancini. I'm going to get back over to the room here again in just a minute. But Baltimore, we may have to wait till Tuesday unless we do it Sunday after baseball brunch, because the Babe Ruth Museum, Birthplace Museum, is not open on Mondays. So, which kind of threw a monkey wrench into what we were doing. So we're still kind of kicking that around, whether it'll be Sunday or Tuesday. We'll just kind of see how it goes. But that's kind of the plans for now. So let's think about lunch and dinner on Friday. Probably maybe lunch and dinner on Sunday. I'm leaning more towards Baltimore on Tuesday because I'd like to have one weekend day in Philly so that we can hang out, to try to give you folks an extra chance to meet up with us if you had the time. I know it's tough during the week. So that's going to be kind of the plan for now. So I know John's roast pork is on the list. Angelo's, Lou Mancini was telling me, is another one I have to hit. And I'm sure Super Sam's got a litany of places to send us to. You know what I'm coming in for as far as food. I'm coming in for the cheesesteaks and the Italian food, right? Trying to lose weight now so that I can put it all back on in the days that we're there. But that's going to be the plan for food, right? Cheesesteaks and Italian food. Because, look, I can't get either here, right? I can't get a good cheesesteak here for the most part, right? And I can't, unless I make it myself, I really can't get solid Italian food. So, and trying to do that on a work night, it's just kind of a pain in the ass. So, really looking forward to coming in, trying to see as many of you guys as possible, guys and girls, and then and enjoying some of the local fare. And I know the kids are ultra excited for cheesesteaks and good food as well. So that's the plan, folks. Looking forward to coming in. Let's hop on over here and see what you guys are all about. Califoot. Lou Keenan, what's up, guys? On my way to a Hooters for dinner in Indianapolis. St. Louis kicked my ass last night. Oh, and Yankees suck. It wouldn't be a show without it, Califoot. And you know my response. Boston Swallows. What do we got here? Lou Mancini was like 3 or 4 spots open today at work when a friend was looking on the side. I'm assuming you're talking about Tampa. I don't know if that was the Hampton or if that's Winter the Dolphin Hotel. But if somebody's looking at it and you only see 3 or 4 left, I would dive in or you're going to miss it. Lou Mancini, where in Jersey are you staying? Haddon Township, I believe, is the town. So that's where we'll be. 12 minutes from the stadiums. Easy commute into the city. So that's where we're going to be. Keenan Harmon, Legion home tailgates are the best. Torment the clowns wearing opposition's jerseys as they strut over to the lake. You are damn skippy. Lou Dominguez, don't forget Babe Ruth Museum. No, not at all, brother. It's definitely, we want to do that. It not being open on the Monday with what else we've got planned kind of throws a bit of a monkey wrench into it, but we're going to find a way around it somehow. Even if, I don't know, there is one thought that we leave the Phillies game in like the 5th inning, get an early jump down to Baltimore, get over to the museum. Because, I mean, really, my wife and daughter don't really give a shit about the Babe Ruth Birthplace Museum. It's the boys and I. So there is one thought, we get down there maybe 4 o'clock-ish. I've got an hour or 2 to kill before the Orioles game, and maybe we can get in there then and then head over to the game. I don't know. We're going to have to kick it around. Lou Dominguez again, I thought you weren't doing yeah, we are doing the Baltimore game on that Saturday night. We're doing both in the same day. Double dip, baby, double dip, just like we did Milwaukee and Chicago last year. Keenan Harmon, Sam is taking you to Franco's at whatever Super Sam says. It's basically I'm all in. She is definitely going to know. So I am all in. Lou Mancini, that's brilliant. Lose weight, gorge, and get it back. You're even, Steven. Yeah, at some point I've got to figure out how to lose the weight. And even if I go on a vacation, at least be able to maintain, right? I end up doing so well for so long, and I'll drop a bunch of weight, and I'll feel really good. I'll be more active and everything. And then I go, like last year, we went to Arizona, and I mean the freaking wheels came off the bus. We got back, and I just never recovered. It was just from there on through the rest of the season. Now, it didn't help that we were also trying to build this Midwest Eagles nest here And, while Mike is, my partner in crime with it, he's the GM at the back porch. So anything bar business related, he handles it, right? We need more TVs, we need more space, we need the sound, we need, that's his end of it. Anybody who stops in, my end of it is all the social media, the podcast, and on game day, I'm the loudmouth. I'm sure that comes as a real big surprise to all of you. I'm running around with a cowbell trying to get people fired up. I mean, so, and then I'm drinking the whole time because I'm encouraging everyone else to come up and drink. I feel like a hypocrite if I don't. So last year took its toll on me. This year, I've got to go into it with a little bit better game plan, knowing that we've only got the 4 1:00 games. Everything else is 4 p.m. or prime time. We're going to have to kind of, pace it a little bit better than I did last year. So we'll see. Anyways, that's where we're at, folks. So that's what the Unhappy Brigade is looking at. 4 short weeks away, folks. 4 short weeks. Cannot wait. Keaton Hardman, we need more cowbell. You damn right. And for all of my Midwest Eagles Nest that may or may not be listening now or later, Saturday, September 2nd, keep that open if you can. I understand that it's Labor Day weekend, and I know people go out of town and you have other plans. If you don't already have plans, lock it in with us and come on up and let's have, let's get our preseason pep rally going on. No, there won't be an Eagles game live, but we're going to try to figure out a way to get some green on a TV back there and or get the sound pumping in our favor. So keep that in mind. Keep that in your hats. The post is up there. The event is created in our group. So go ahead and just respond there so I can get a head count. I think right now we take the head count plus everybody's significant others and kids and stuff. We're probably 20-something right now. So hopefully that continues to grow. Lou Mancini, Lou and Ash, we feel your pain with the Heat and Panthers. We just dealt with it with the Birds and Phils. Yeah, guys. Chris, Lou, and I briefly, and Lou, I passed out. I woke up to saw the baseball score that was a hockey game. So I'm really sorry for the way that went down. But it's a tough couple of days. Losing the World Series, for Philly, losing the World Series, then losing the Super Bowl is rough. But at least there was a few months, a couple month gap in between. I mean, Miami just dealt with losing in the NBA Finals and the Cup Finals back-to-back nights. So, let's all, have a moment of silence for our good friends Lou and 305 Sports Babe Ashley. All right. Okay, that's enough. All right, folks. Let's get moving here. We got some stuff to talk about. I want to have a little fun here. The boner of the week. We always go right into this here. When I teased the show, which by the way I did while driving, which was not the smartest move. If there's any Ohio police officers listening, please do not pay any attention to my previous statement. But Denver Nuggets fans, you win the prize this week. And I understand that this may sound a little hypocritical coming from a Philadelphia Eagles fan who, when we won the Super Bowl, there were some fans that went around eating piles of horse shit. I get it. But I don't recall 10 people being shot the night we won the Super Bowl, right? In Denver, their first championship in their 47-year existence resulted in 2 guys being arrested, 9 people being shot. The 10th person being shot was one of the gunmen. I'm assuming by a cop he was shot. I didn't read all the details. I didn't really want to. I didn't really have to. You went over the top. You're the boner of the week. Okay? Denver. When we were out there in 2021, the whole city smelled like a giant bonfire of burning weed. Right? So I thought all you guys were like hippies. Just running around happy and high as shit all the time. Nope. All it takes is one championship to disrupt that apple cart. So, nice job, Idgits. 47 years to win a title, and you celebrate by shooting at each other. Good job. Excellent work. not much more to comment on, as far as the Denver thing. 10 people, including one of the gunmen, were shot on Monday night following the Nuggets' Game 5 championship clinching 94-89 victory over the Miami Heat. Sorry. You've got the best player in the league. I wasn't surprised that you won the championship. I was hoping it would go at least 6. Would have been nice to see it go to a 7th game and see whose butt buckered up tighter. But I'm not at all surprised by the gentleman's sweep. It was a bummer the way it closed out. Miami had, I think, a 1-point lead twice inside of 2 minutes, inside of 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So, and just, too much. Denver was just too much. And I think they would have been too much for Boston. I really don't think anybody was going to beat the Nuggets. It does not excuse these fans from shooting at each other or shooting at other people. Like, you're just an ass. You guys, so you get people like that and the guys in Philly who ate the horse shit. You're the ones that make it so we have to have all this extra security and dumb stuff around to stop you morons from behaving this way, or at least try to, right? It's just like anything else. The police force, the cops are not out there for 98% of the population. They're out there for the 2% of the population that are shitheads. That's all there is to it. And all you do by doing this is every time a major city wins a championship, especially if it's a team and organization that has never won one, everyone has to be on this extra heightened sense of security. You need, riot patrol and all this stuff. You don't need to flip cars over, light shit on fire. Look, the Philly thing is funny. Grease the poles and all that stuff. That's one thing. But, shooting at each other, eating piles of horse crap, like, come on, man. It's just, I can't figure. So if flipping cars over, lighting stuff on fire, how is that celebrating? Right? It's not. It's out of control. Anyways, back over here. Lou Dominguez, thanks, Lou. Baseball score. They missed the extra point and got us 9-3. Tough 24 hours for sure. Thanks for the moment of pity. Silence. You're welcome, brother. I am sorry for the way those last 2 days went for you, brother. Lou Dominguez again. Never understood why idiots celebrate a championship with gunshots and riots, or the fools that shoot bullets into the night sky on New Year's. Thank you. It's exactly what I'm talking about, man. None of that makes any sense to me at all either. So I'm glad I'm not alone here. Keenan Harmon says they only took a bite of horse shit. You know what, dude? 1 bite of horse crap is too many bites of horse crap. There's just no reason. My mother in the room. She says hi, and then she says hi to Lou. Lou Mancini, that behavior is medieval. Yeah, it's just disgusting. Final note on the NBA Finals, and Lou Dominguez, you're going to hate me for this one, these two. Before we move on, to me, the outcome of those finals put to rest a couple of things, both concerning Jimmy Butler. I'm not sure how much I really want to hear about playoff Jimmy anymore. Not saying, and look, it's not like he was a turd, but like to put a moniker on someone like that, you expect him to be able to carry the team. And my God, man, shoot the ball. He looked very much like someone looking to distribute first, and I don't blame him for getting other people involved. And I think keeping Bam involved in that series, knowing that Joker, despite the fact that he's phenomenal on the offensive end, is not a great defender. It was, keeping Bam involved was a good idea. But Jimmy, you got to be the leader, dude. So playoff Jimmy, I don't know, man. I'm kind of on the fence. Is it a myth? But what I can tell you is it definitely puts to rest the conspiracy theory that Jimmy Butler is Michael Jordan's illegitimate child. We can close that out now. Okay? So, again, Lou Dominguez, Ashley, I'm sorry, but, look, Denver was a juggernaut, and I get it. But I think it's safe to say Jimmy Butler is not Jordan Jr., right? All right. Before we move on to football, There is one other fan base I want to talk about. We just told you that the Denver Nuggets fan base, for all the shootings and stupidity, you're the boner of the week. That was easy. But it's not like these guys that I'm about to talk about here. It's not like these guys get a free pass. Okay? So when you look at baseball right now, one of the bigger stories is the Oakland A's. Okay? We all know they're about to leave for Vegas. We all know the obvious, the ownership blames the fans in the city. The fans blame the ownership in the city. Common denominator there is the city. The city is obviously a problem, given that they're the common denominator. Look, the Warriors. What in the hell? Oops. Yeah. Forgot to close out my Facebook page, and that just went off really loud in my ear. Sorry. The Warriors moved across the Bay to San Francisco from Oakland, right? The Raiders left for Vegas, and now the A's are primed to do the same thing. The Oakland A's fans who they complain about the owners not putting a winner on the field, and I'm partially with them. So you're not showing up for games. You had the lowest attendance in the league at 8,555 per game, until the other night. In protest of the ownership wanting to move the team to Vegas, they decided to have what they called a reverse boycott. The fans were hoping to fill the Oakland Coliseum, and they actually had a T-shirt giveaway where the shirt just like said sell or sell the team or something like that. All right, look, my fellow degenerates, listen. Like we stated to start off this topic, pretty sure the ship has already sailed, right? We know they're going to leave for Vegas. The organization hopes that they'll have a new ballpark in 2027. It's possible it's not till 2028. But either way, their lease in Oakland is up at the end of the 2024 season. All right? That is going to take them out of Oakland. They have a deal with Bally's and Gaming and Leisure Properties to build the new stadium. It's a $1.5 billion deal to build on the site of what was the Tropicana Hotel along the Vegas Strip. All right? Just this Monday, the Nevada State Senate voted 13-8 in favor of the A's proposal of roughly $380 million in funding from the state to assist with this. They will need a home in 2025 and 2026. Obviously, their lease is up in Oakland. They don't they're not staying in Oakland at this point. I just gave you the numbers. You're talking about almost $2 billion that's ready to be sunk into this already. It's far too much money already on the table to, for that to back out. But they're going to need a home in 2025, 2026. Las Vegas Ballpark, which is currently the home of the A's AAA affiliate, the Aviators, is the most likely landing spot for the big club until their new building is complete. Back to this reverse boycott, because I don't really understand the thought around this from the fans. You haven't been in the top 15 in attendance in decades. And that includes runs where you were winning the division, right? Hudson Mulder Zito years. Shit like that, or even, later than that. It's been forever since you've been in the top 15 in attendance, okay? So I don't want to hear all this crap all the time about, well, you're going to put a winner on the field before I'll go to a game. You weren't going when the winner was on the field, all right? And then your backup, I've seen a lot of A's fans, their fallback is, well, the stadium's a piece of shit. I don't disagree with you. But not going doesn't solve anything. Anyways, first and foremost, this reverse boycott, it makes no sense at all. If you're pissed at the ownership, the best way to show it is how? Do not spend any money on the... And you know what? And you guys keep forgetting to remind me to do this. Let me try here again. All right, there we go. Sorry. So the best way is to not spend any money on the team. Don't buy tickets. Not that would take a whole lot of effort, given the average of 85-55 this season. If you're not at games, you're not buying concessions. They're not getting any money there. Don't buy the merchandise, and don't give them TV or radio ratings by watching or listening to the ball games. Instead, more than 27,000, almost 28,000 people show up just to wear T-shirts that say "sell" and chant throughout the crowd, holding up signs, "Sell the team! Oh, sell the team!" So the max that the Oakland, and this is the funny part, the max that the Oakland Coliseum can hold for a baseball game, and this they would have to remove some tarp and all that stuff, is 56,782. Right? So you mean to tell me that you could, so as much as you don't want to be, you constantly, some of these folks are saying, the low attendance, that's not who we are. You could barely fill half of that stadium in unison as a protest or reverse boycott against the owner who's trying to take your team away. What do you mean that's not who you are? It's who you are. It's definitely who you are. I just said you haven't been in the top 15 in attendance in decades. Decades. Nobody goes. Is the stadium fine? The stadium's a dump. Whatever. There's history there. I, for one, who is chasing ballparks, am going to be upset because I am not going to be able to get to Oakland before the A's leave there. Right? Which means my only opportunity to see the A's is going to be in Vegas. How fun is Vegas going to be for an adult? It's just, look, there's history there, and you never appreciated it, right? Now, don't get me wrong. The ownership doesn't appreciate you either. And the city doesn't appreciate either of them, right? They don't want to help with the damn thing. So on the day that the organization got the state funding approval from Nevada for $380 million, you, as the Oakland A's fans, decide to line the owner's pockets with some more money on their way out the door. Congrats. Nice job. Way to go. You really showed them, guys. 27,000 people. Because that's not who we are. Fuck out of here. Do you really think John Fisher and his group who owns the team give a damn about any of you? No. All you've accomplished, aside from giving them more money on their way out the door, is also giving them the platform to further bash you as a fan base. Right? Just like I just said, it's very easy for someone to come out. My God, even when they tried to all band together, they can only get barely half the stadium filled. Right? It also opens up the point for them to make statements like, I wish we could draw this many people all the time. Right? That's all you've accomplished. Lining their pockets and giving them more ammo at you. Listen, A's fans, I'm not exonerating the ownership in this cornucopia of douchebaggery. But let's not act like the fans don't need to eat their share of the crap sandwich as well. Right? The city does a horrible job of supporting its sports teams and is now about to lose their last one. The A's owners refusing to spend money to build a franchise into a winner. Okay? Now, when people complain to me that there's no salary cap in baseball, and this is what's ruining the sport, and teams like the Mets, Yankees, Phillies, Braves, Dodgers can go out and just spend up all the money, and whatever. I don't disagree with them. Having no cap is a problem. But I also remind them that there's no floor either. And that the current luxury tax, when these teams, Yankees, Mets, Phillies, whoever, go over that luxury tax threshold, there's a penalty that they have to pay. All that penalty goes into a pool, which is then dispersed amongst your lower market, smaller market teams, Reds, A's, Pittsburgh. And instead of reinvesting it in either developing players or signing free agents or what have you, a lot of these teams are taking that cut and just, not doing that with it, not reinvesting it back onto the field. So what you're left with is a league that needs a cap and for sure needs a floor, okay? Because I would tell you the floor might be the bigger problem. And then there's the fans. I'm only going if they win games. Look, of course nobody wants to spend their hard-earned money just to go watch their team stink. But you don't get to do that and then on the heels of it complain when you're at least part of the problem. Like I've said 3 or 4 times already, for you Oakland A's fans, you want to complain that you're not going to go unless the ownership puts a winner on the field, but you weren't going when they had a winner on the field. This team won division titles, not even in the top 15 in attendance. I don't want to hear it. All 3 are reasons why the A's are going to be in Vegas. And I had some idiot on a Facebook post earlier, and I don't know why I keep getting involved in this, because the older I get, the less patience I have for stupidity. But this kid tried to tell me that it wasn't a done deal. There's nothing in writing saying that the A's are going, that they're owned by Vegas, and they're going to Vegas. Okay, you know what? MLB hasn't voted on it yet. I got it. I'm with you. But if you think that $1.5 million in committed money to build the stadium and $380 million more being given from the state of Nevada that was voted in favor of just this past Monday. So what does that come out to? Just what is it? $1.88 billion? $1.880 billion. That's 1.880 billion reasons why this thing is a done deal. And anybody who thinks otherwise, you're fooling yourself. It would take a miracle for the A's to stay in Oakland right now. A miracle. Years ago, Reggie Jackson tried to buy the team, and they wouldn't let him. Had Reggie bought the team, you might have had a better shot. But again, you can't just show up when it's convenient for you, right? The Reds here have the same problem. Now, Bob Castellini is a douche, the owner here. This is the same guy who I attacked last year on this show when he made his statements about, I'll just move the team. Dude, this is the Cincinnati Reds. It's the first established Major League Baseball team. It's not like the A's that were in Philadelphia, Kansas City, and now Oakland. Cincinnati's never left. They've always been here. You're not taking the team anywhere. So the Reds fans, I think, have more of a gripe, but it's the same kind of concept. It's not like they've, I can clearly remember a game back in in August of 2007? Reds are, I think, 2 games back of the Cardinals. And St. Louis came here for a 3-game weekend series. It was a Friday night. The weather was beautiful. It was not humid. They had, half-price beers and dollar hot dogs. They drew 20,000 people. Kids weren't even back in school yet. And it's really a shame because I think some of these teams that we're talking about, especially, and I did some of this last year too. We talked about, I think, the Reds and the Orioles, and I think we included the A's in there too. Some of these teams are part of the fabric of baseball. When you talk the Reds, the A's, the Orioles too. And it's really a shame when they stink, and it's a bigger shame when the fans are this pissed off and won't support the team. So I don't know what the answers are. I'm telling you, the A's are on their way to Vegas, and it was necessary to discuss how stupid their fan base was for this reverse protest the other night. And like I said, again, you didn't show up when they were winning division titles. Now you try to band together to give a big to the owners where everybody's holding up sell the team signs and T-shirts, and you can barely fill half the stadium. Like, you're just weak sauce, all right? You lost the team. That's it. They're gone. Come the end of next year, it's over. Which, for guys like me who are trying to chase, I'm going to miss out on being able to go. And I get that the Coliseum's a shithole. I understand. But there's history there. Rickey Henderson Field, right? Like, I wanted to go see it. And I'm not going to get there unless I hit the lotto. So, anyways, we're going to move on here right after I check in on the room. Take another drink of my water. Who do we got in here? Captain Demps. Captain Demps joining the room. Late to the game. Good day, all. How are you today, sir? Hope everything is well on your end. Russ Taylor, Oakland lost the Warriors, lost the Raiders, now the A's. Maybe a WNBA team will be good for them. Yeah, because, dozens of people might go see that. Lou Mancini, what's the trendy town next to Oakland? I was there but can't remember. I think that's San Francisco. Right across the bay, right? What else we got here? Lou Mancini. I'm not sure. Okay. So we're going to move on, right? Ace fans are stupid. Well, at least the ones that tried to do that shit on Monday. No offense to our good friend David Connett. He is an A's fan, but even he admits that, it's a shame that the team is going to be leaving Oakland. I did not get his thoughts on the whole reverse protest thing. I don't know that he would have been in favor of that, probably for the same reasons we just talked about. But anyways, we're going to move on. All right. So you guys know we've taken a look at the Birds schedule, right? A couple of weeks ago. And so far, if you've also been watching on Saturdays or when whenever Quimby decides to record the Saturday show, you would know that we're on this show pretty much in line with how he sees the season going on. Now, granted, losses to different teams. He's got us losing at LA. I think we lose at the Jets the following week. And that's some of that has to do with the fact that I do think the Jets are going to be better. And, going across the country out to LA and then coming all the way back to play, I just think it's a little tough. Anyways, given that, we've taken a look at the schedule. I think I had us 14-3. 14-3 as a high water mark, and then 12-5 as maybe the more realistic number. But we're just gonna have to see how the season plays out. I do like the way the season opens up. The weaker part of the schedule is early. Again, just like last year, you got a lot of new guys coming in that are going to need that time to build the trust, the continuity, the camaraderie to gel. And the schedule sets up nicely for us to be able to do that again this year. For all the reasons Quimby called out Aaron Rodgers, is the same way I feel about Matthew Stafford. So we're just going to see how that plays out. I thought it would be a good idea to start taking a look at not just our schedule, but some of the teams that we're going to play, right? As we kind of take the next few weeks, and at least a portion of the show will be taking a look at different divisions around the league. We're going to start it off with who we're going to play. And this might be the toughest division in football this year. It's all going to remain to be with – boy, sometimes I get tongue-tied. It's all, on paper anyways, appears to be one of, if not the toughest division in football. And that's the AFC East, okay? Now, I'm going to preface this by stating, yes, it's totally understood that the health of certain players and the commitment from other players is going to play some of, if not the biggest role in deciding who wins this division, who makes a wild card, who finishes where, all of that sort of thing. For now, though, like I said, at least on paper, looks like a very tough division. Everyone is healthy. and it appears commitment is almost a non-issue. Remember the almost part, and we'll get to that as we work through the AFC East. Okay, so, and guys, feel free to chime in here. Like, don't think that it's, I don't have to just be a talking head. I can do this all day, every day for the rest of my life, right? Gift of the gab. But come on, let's hear you. AFC East for me, we're going to start with the New England Patriots, right? We open our 2023-2024 campaign at Gillette on Tom Brady Love Fest night, right? So I still don't understand the thought process behind this, from the Patriots as an organization. I mean, look, I'm not complaining, right? It's going to be great to whip their ass in front of Brady and all his chowderhead worshipers. But if you're the organization, right, if you're the Patriots and you want to bring Tom Brady in for, everyone to go gaga over him one more time, why in the hell would you not do it on a game where maybe a little bit better shot of winning it, right? I mean, his whole career is built on winning. Super Bowls, regular season, MVPs. I mean, to the point where it made all of us sick, right? And yet you want to do this in the opener against the defending NFC champions who, by the way, when you look at the Birds, yeah, sure, we lost a bunch of guys, but how we retooled this team in a big way, and provided everybody gels, I'm not seeing much of a problem here, guys. I just don't get it from a Patriots standpoint. But hey, you want to invite all your chowder heads in New England to come drive up that one freaking way to get into Gillette, to sit in traffic for 5 hours, pain in the ass to get in and out of there. On a weekend when the Red Sox are in town, so it's going to be a big nightmare going anywhere around Boston or Foxborough or anything. You want to invite everybody up there for a big Tom Brady party and have him sit there and watch his former team get massacred? I'm here for it, baby. Let's go. Russ Taylor. Oh, by the way, Gilmore, when you go to the Phillies, walk across the street and make your kids get a picture. Oh, yeah, we did that, Russ. The Nick Foles, you want Philly? We did that when we were there last January, but we'll probably do it again. I mean, you can't ever see enough of that, right? The Philly. But yeah, and then Keenan brings up another good point. Plus, we're a team that whooped Brady in the Super Bowl with our backup quarterback. Now, I know the Green Legion isn't looking at going up there because of the ticket prices and not wanting to, and it just sounds like a giant pain in the ass of a trip to put together. It really does. I don't blame Quimby at all for this one. But I am hoping to God that some group of Eagles fans brings Nick Foles there that night. And we'll see if maybe Tom Brady still refuses to shake his hand. Right? Anyways, this is a Patriots. Jesus. I am having trouble tonight, boy. Man. Excuse me. Anyways, this is the team that was 8-9 last season and finished in third place. Just a game ahead of the Jets. Damn. Sorry, guys. They had 21.4 points per game, which was 17th in the league. They allowed 20.4, which was 11th. And they're going to run it back with Mac Jones. And he just still doesn't have this huge complement of skill position. Yes, Keenan, hairball. Apparently, it's a hairball, right? Got a hair from my beard going down my throat, apparently. But again, you're going to run it back with Mac Jones. Bill Belichick has done an awful job of drafting or signing skill position players. And this goes back to before Brady even left. They didn't have it. Outside of Gronk, there was nothing there. And it continues now. And now, these last few years, of course, you don't have Brady to carry the bunch. So, their feature back, Ramondre Stevenson, 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, 421 a year, another touchdown last year. We all know how the Patriots running game goes. It's always been kind of a by committee thing there. Belichick was ahead of the curve. Well, I say Belichick, but the Patriots themselves were ahead of the curve on that. They were doing that years ago while a lot of the rest of the league was still looking for, that feature running back. Wide receivers, they brought in Juju Smith-Schuster. This is his 7th season. He's had one big year with Pittsburgh in 2018. He had 933 yards last season with Patrick Mahomes throwing him the ball. Now, it's a big downgrade to Mac Jones. I just don't have any faith in the Patriots offense to do enough. They're always going to be at least somewhat of a problem defensively, right? As long as Belichick is there, he's going to have his hands in the defense. He's a very good defensive coach. He always has been. And the players are solid, and the scheme is going to be good. So they can be a pain to score against, but their offense is not good. And their offense is not going to be good this year. Now, the wild card in every team we talk about tonight, with the exception of, 4 teams we're talking about, 2 of them, 50% of them, the wild card would be, what if they signed DeAndre Hopkins? And I guess the Patriots would be one of those. If they sign D-Hop, does that improve them? I still say you got Mac Jones throwing the ball. And I'm not a huge Mac Jones advocate. I'm just not. Again, they're always going to play strong defensively because of their coach. But again, they've done such a poor job at bringing skill position guys via the draft and or the free agency that I just don't see them being a problem. Landlord from Wakanda, how are you? Is this an Eagle channel? This is Green Legion Radio's Unhappy Gilmore show. Yes, we are Eagles-based. We do go more than just the birds here on this show. Right now, we're talking AFC East because those 4 teams are on the Eagles' schedule this year. Okay? We did talk Eagles' schedule 1 through 17 last year. 1 through 17 just a few weeks ago. And now we're kind of breaking down divisions, starting with the division in the AFC that the Eagles are going to play. And we started off with the Patriots, who, look, I just don't see them. They're the last place team in that division, which, what a crying shame after all the years of dominance. But do you think they're going to be able to hold a candle to the Birds on opening night for the opener? No. We're going to embarrass them on their home field with Tom Brady in attendance while everyone in New England is humping air because Brady's there. It's going to be glorious, and I can't wait. Like we talked about when we did the schedule, that's a Birds win. Who else we got here? Jabari Brown, what up? What up, my man? Welcome aboard. Green Legion Radio's Unhappy Gilmore show. Every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Thank you for joining us here. Kind of going through the AFC East team by team. And just a quick rundown of each one, where we think they are, what we think they're going to do, and how we think they'll stack up versus their division. And we'll give you your thoughts as far as the Birds. So, let's move on to the New York Jets, right? So when we started this segment, I mentioned the commitment from players, and this is one of the teams I was referencing. Obviously, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, right? The biggest move in the offseason is Rodgers being traded to the Jets. But tell me if you've heard this story before. Flashback a year ago. Right, so he joins a roster, right? This roster everyone believes is ready to contend for a title now, right? They're just a quarterback away, being a common statement. The team hired Nathaniel Hackett, at least in part because of his relationship with Rodgers. Granted, he's the OC, not the head coach. They have a strong defense. Their offensive line and running game is solid. Tell me if you've heard that story before as we welcome Warren Downs to the room. My man, thank you for stopping in, sir. Haven't talked to you in a minute. Appreciate you dropping by. Warren, big Green Bay Packers fan, but we won't hold that against him. So tell me if you have heard that story before. They're ready to contend right now. Just a quarterback away. Good defense, good running back, solid offensive line. Bringing in Hackett to try to coerce Rodgers to come in. Who does that sound like to you? To me, it sounds an awful lot like the 2022 version of the Denver Broncos. Right? Let's not act like the similarities aren't there. Only this time the Jets actually got their man. Denver had to settle for Russ as the consolation prize. I'm not so sure who's more to blame with that one, whether it's Rodgers or Russ or Hackett, combination of both. I can say that Russ looked a little better once Hackett got canned. We'll see what happens this year. In case you didn't pick up on it, yes, those similarities are between this year's Jets, last year's Broncos. They are a bit disconcerting if you are a Jets fan, which we all know. Warren Down says screw the Jets and screw him. However, you're looking at a team that went 7-10 despite being led by Zach Wilson, by Joe Flacco, and Mike White. If any of those guys scare you, as we've said at least once a week, I've got some magic beans to sell you, right? They still managed to go 7-10 with being ranked 29th in the league in points per game at 17.4. The running game took a massive hit when Breece Hall went down. My opinion is Breece Hall would have been pushing Garrett Wilson for Offensive Rookie of the Year on the same team with Garrett had he stayed healthy the whole year. And who the hell was afraid of those quarterbacks, right? Hall coming back healthy, plus Rodgers' expected increase in points per game. The defense, definitely tough. Just 18.6 points per game, which was good enough for fourth in the league. Not doing deep dive on the team stats or individual stats here. Just going to reference really the ones that are the most important. How much did you score? How much did you give up? Right? That's what gets you wins and losses. The bottom line is the New York Jets. This team is going to live and die with Rodgers, obviously. If he stays committed, which he has so far, and keeps building a rapport with Garrett Wilson, with Breece Hall, continues to build the relationship with the kid that came over from Green Bay, and the rest of the offense, then that offense is going to be good, which will then keep an already solid defense very fresh. Given that roster, I think at worst, and I am going on Aaron Rodgers is going to stay committed, okay? We preface this whole thing with the if portion. I'm saying he stays committed and the team continues to grow together. Given the talent on that roster, at worst, this team would finish second in the division and be a wild card. Again, I'm saying Rodgers stays committed. All right, before we get to the second half of the division here, let's hop over one more time. Landlord from Wakanda. Let's go. Let's go Birds, baby. Welcome. Don't screw Aaron Rodgers. I love it. Russ Taylor, Wakanda forever. Is this an Eagles channel? Is Joe sleeping? Russ Taylor. I'm waiting for the first reporter to call Aaron Rodgers Aaron. Oh, dear. Yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't happened. That'll happen in New York at some point, especially if he starts to screw up. Russ Taylor, we need the Jets to be good because they have the best name for their cheerleaders. They are called the Flight Crew. That doesn't really do anything for me. Keenan, is this an Eagles channel? Is 4:20 the perfect time of day? Russ Taylor, they need the greatest quarterback in the world to win. He saved every one of us. Flash Gordon, quarterback, New York. Jeez. And Warren Downs one more time. Rodgers couldn't commit to a 4-day retreat, quit after 2. Well, we're going to find out, brother. I know you're very much against the Jets here and Rodgers. I don't blame you. But here we are. All right. Third team on the list. By the way, I have the Eagles losing at New York Jets this year. Okay, I think that's week 6. I have us losing that game as our first loss of the year. So just to give you an idea of where I think the Jets will be at that point. Now, if Rodgers doesn't stay committed, then they're going to stink. Because it's all hinging on him. Defense will keep him in games. They do have good skill position guys. Rodgers doesn't have to do much but just build a rapport with these guys. His arm talent will take care of the rest. We'll see. Miami Dolphins. 2022 version team was flying last year, right? They were 8-3 through 11 games with a clear, real path to the number 1 seed in the AFC. Along with that, remember, we did a show, if not 2, where we touched on the comparisons between Tua and Jalen Hurts. They're always going to be linked together because of the whole Bama thing. But at the time, Tua was having the better statistical season as a passer, right? Unfortunately, he got his bell rung a few times. The offense sputtered a bit. And the schedule got a little tougher too. And the Fish lost 5 of their last 6 games. They did salvage the 9-8 winning record by beating the Jets in Week 18. Mind you, did anybody watch that Week 18 game? 11-6 was the final score. Okay. The Marlins and Mets have put on a better show. That was pretty bad. And then, of course, we all know what happened in the playoff game. Skylar Thompson goes out there, plays his ass off, and damn near knocks off the Bills. But, oh well. Anyways, there's definitely no questions about commitment here. But the other thing I mentioned before we got into this division was what? Health of certain players. And that is where, obviously, the Dolphins, you can say health for any team, but this one's big. This is Tua, okay? I don't think it's a shock to anyone. Can he stay on the field? We've talked about it at length on this show. We've talked about it. Can't remember if we talked about it at all on like Green Legion Radio. I know we talked it last year on Right on Cue a few times too. My personal opinion at the end was that Tua should have retired for his own personal long-term health. Now, I say that by also admitting I recognize the fact that it's very easy for some schmuck like me to sit here and say that when I haven't sat and worked my ass off my whole life to get to the point where Tua is. And so it's very easy for me to say, well, he should just retire for his own personal health. Well, this kid's dreamt of nothing more than doing this, and he comes from a family that has an incredibly strong work ethic. We talked about that on this show a few times too. If you need to look that up, go ahead. But they just very, very strong work ethic, no quit. So I commend him. I'm also very scared for him. So we'll see what happens. If Tua stays on the field, he would lead, I believe, once again, would lead one of the most explosive offenses in the league. One which is rumored to be looking at adding Dalvin Cook as well. Yeah. The wide receivers, Hill and Waddle, not only I think that's the fastest tandem in the league, but they state their case as one of, if not the best tandem in the league. And that's considering that Raheem Mostert might be the fastest guy in the team. And you talk about adding Dalvin Cook to that. Dalvin Cook, who's had his injury problems, but is still just 27 years old. And he had a play last year where I think he reached 21.7 miles an hour, which was good for 7th fastest skipper in the league last year. So he's still got gas in the tank. Miami's in a win now spot, right, with Tua and Hill and Waddle. So grabbing Dalvin Cook and then having him be part of a tandem backfield where he doesn't have to carry the load should keep him fresh, keep him healthy, and keep them very dangerous. The Dolphins defense at times, it looked really, really good at times, looked more like a bend, don't break at others. And they're fine as long as their offense is rolling the way they were. They finished 11th in the league in points per game at 23.4 and 24th in points per game allowed at 23.5. I understand the allowed sounds, it's pretty it's the bottom third of the league, but keep in mind this team was not the same weeks 13 through 18. So again, it all goes back to Tua. If he gets hurt, all bets are off, and this team will likely look the way it did down the stretch last season. I am, again, going to think positive and hope the kid stays on the field. And I'm going to think positive that way, not not because I'm a Dolphin fan by any stretch of the imagination, but if Tua gets hurt, it's likely another concussion, and I don't want to imagine him getting another concussion, right? I'd really rather never see that happen again to him. Really, to any of these guys, concussions are going to happen. But Tua has had so many, even going back to college, that he's putting himself very much in harm's way, and I really don't want to see it happen to him. So I'm going to stay positive in that that's not going to happen to him. He's going to stay on the field. And if so, this is the team contending with the Jets for the top of that division, right? Again, I'm thinking positive on both ends with the Jets and the Dolphins as far as their quarterback play. The Jets have Rodgers, who stays committed, continues to build rapport with the team, and, does what Rodgers does, along with now paired with a really strong defense and running game. In Miami, I've got Tua healthy, staying on the field, and leading in a very explosive offense, and them and the Jets contend at the top. Now, as far as the Birds head-to-head, I did have the Birds losing our first game of the year at the Jets in Week 6. I forget which week it is with the Dolphins. I want to say it's 10 or something like that. But no, I don't, and that's in Philly, and I don't see that going well for the Fish. They're going to come in, and I understand their offense can be deadly, but I like our corners, and I like I like our offense's ability to run it up against their defense versus theirs to run it up on ours. That's kind of where I'm at with it. So we split 1-1 there. Warren Downs, Packers fan, but a bigger fan of Unhappy Gilmore. Thank you very much, brother. I really appreciate that. Always very appreciative of any time anyone can give us. It's always very, very humbling to see stuff like that. Thank you very much. My mother, Subway Series on, gotta go. Love to all. Yep, there you go. And Captain Dent says we ain't losing to the Jets. Hey man, we might not. But I don't think we're losing to the Rams. I don't like that game for the Rams. I know we're traveling across the country. I think Stafford's done. I think he's washed. I understand Cooper Kupp is back and everything, but we're fine defensively against that team. I think the Jets pose a bigger problem in Aaron Rodgers being much better than Stafford, and their skill position guys as a whole are better than what the Rams have. And the Jets defense is quite possibly another top 5 year for them. So, if you're going to ask me if that's the choice, the Rams or the Jets, I'm saying we're losing to the Jets. Anyways. All right, finally. And I left the best for last with this division. And I left them last for a reason. It's the Buffalo Bills. Okay? There is a reason I left them for last. Have you watched this offense, especially over the past year, last season? It's basically Allen takes the snap and drops back. Allen takes the shotgun snap. Allen sweep left. Allen sweep right. Allen up the middle. Allen. Notice what's missing? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody got a comment on what's missing in Buffalo that they still have not done a damn thing to correct? Right? Q touched on this past Friday. I brought it up there for anyone who was commenting in the room and might have seen it. There's no run game. None. Look, I'm not saying you got to have, a feature back, but you have to be able to hand the ball off to somebody who's worth a shit. Right? Lou Mancini, our running back. Thank you. The team, the Buffalo Bills did nothing, have done nothing to this point to correct this issue during the offseason. And I personally don't understand why we haven't heard them being linked to any of the free agent running backs. We just talked about Dalvin Cook possibly going to division rival Miami Dolphins. why would the Bills not jump in there and grab it? Or at least try to make a run at it? You don't even hear a rumor about it. And make no mistake, this team's got to be Super Bowl or bust, in my opinion, for Buffalo. And again, in my opinion, this might be Super Bowl or bust year for them. I think they're primed to take a big step backwards. Right? You just heard, I've got Miami and the Jets at the top of that division. Again, provided health and commitment stay there. The Bills finished second in the league in both points per game and points per game allowed last year at 28.4 and 17.9 respectively, which may, and I understand, might have you looking at me like I'm some sort of nut saying that the Jets and Dolphins are going to finish ahead of them. Well, keep in mind, again, like I keep saying, that's provided health and commitment stay solid with the quarterback play of the Fish and the Jets. But also take a look at the Bills overall. Again, we just talked about it. They've done nothing to correct the run game issue. Take a look at the playoff game versus Cincinnati. And then think about the fact that the Bengals got much better at the offensive line. Still bringing back what is the deepest wide receiver group in the league when you consider Chase and Higgins as the duo, but then you add Boyd, making them the best trio of receivers, right? I mean, there's a bunch of teams that can give you the top two. Brown and Smith, Waddle and Hill, Higgins and Chase. But when Boyd comes into play, Boyd is a solid number two on almost every other team in the league. That's how good he is. Higgins is a borderline number one on a lot of other teams. And Chase is an unquestioned one anywhere. Outside of you're probably not, if you have Tyreek Hill, you're not taking Jamar Chase over him, right? If you have A.J. Brown, you're not taking Jamar Chase over him because you have your number one. Also consider that Kansas City is still rolling, right? Rolling right along. Best QB on the planet. Coming off another MVP season, another Super Bowl victory, another Super Bowl MVP. All of those are the second time he's done it, showing no signs of slowing down. Again, this is another spot where we talk about, does DeAndre Hopkins start coming into the mix here? Does he start coming? There's a lot of rumors of D-Hop to Kansas City. Okay? Look, D-Hop is looking for that final payday. He's 31 years old. I'm not sure how much he gives a damn about winning at this point. He's 31 years old. This is his last shot at a solid payday. That's what he's after. So the team that can offer the biggest cap space and then, maybe winning is the secondary thing. Not so much a 1 and 1A, but a 1 and, 1-2, very close. I still say he's much more interested in the payday at 31 years old. Also add that Miami with a healthy Tua and the Jets with a committed Aaron Rodgers are both much stronger than they were last year, right? In particular, if Miami adds Dalvin Cook. That's not pleasant. Then throw in the fact that Josh Allen doesn't look anywhere near as good as he did when Daboll was there. Look, I understand the stats still play out that he was the top quarterback last year, but, dude, that kid has gotten reckless, okay? He's regressing, right? It's not drastic, but it's happening. And I think this is the year that if he doesn't get some running game help and maybe another solid wide receiver to hold on to, DeAndre Hopkins, this might be the year that Josh Allen takes that full step backwards. Then throw in what happened this week. Who didn't show up day one of the camp in Buffalo? Stefon Diggs, right? Don't undersell this, folks. Don't think that you can just go and say, well, I'll just go sign DeAndre Hopkins and that replaces Stefon Diggs. There is no guarantee that that's the case. Stefon Diggs over the last 3 years is one of those receivers that can state his case as the top receiver in football. Don't believe me? Fine. He has averaged over the last 3 seasons while in Buffalo with Josh Allen throwing the ball, averaged 113 receptions, 1,200 yards, and 10 touchdowns. And now he doesn't show up. right? His agent comes out and says, oh, no, he's committed. He's going to be there. Look, Stephon Diggs was yelling at Josh Allen on the sidelines during that playoff game against the Bengals last year. Stephon Diggs was short with the media afterwards. He's been non-existent in Buffalo in front of cameras, talking to anyone the entire offseason. It's not a good sign. And if you lose him, if he decides to sit out, if he demands a trade, what is Josh Allen going to do? Right? He already doesn't have somebody to hand the ball off to. Now, if you take away Stephon Diggs, which caveat here with Diggs, you just signed a big contract. You were the third greatest wide receiver in the league last year. I don't really know what you're complaining about, unless he's just pissed off that they're not getting over the hump, which I respect. Now, I don't know if he wants them to bring in another stud wide receiver. We all know Gabe Davis hasn't been Mr. Consistent. Maybe he wants them to go lobby for DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe he wants to see a goddamn running back come in here to take some pressure off that passing game. Take some pressure off Josh Allen. I'm a big Josh Allen fan, in case you couldn't tell. I've told you guys numerous times that I had a slight man crush on the kid. And I'm not shying away from him. But if the Bills don't do something to help him, he's going to continue. He's going to regress. And it's going to happen big time this year. Add to the fact, like I said, the Jets are better. The Dolphins are better. They're going to play the NFC East. That's the Birds. That's the Cowboys, who unfortunately for us are no pushover. The Giants, we should still be able to push them around. But Dable knows how to get at Josh Allen, obviously. You know, that's what's that? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 games off your schedule right there. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 games off your schedule right there against teams that can beat you. Buffalo's been pushing people around for a couple of years. I think that comes to an end this season. And I think the Birds really hand them their ass. I think when Quimby got to this game, I think I called it 31-14 Philly. And I'm not even sure it'd be that close. I think we might be sitting at 31-7 and the Bills score a late BS touchdown. You know. So, yeah. I mean, I could be wrong here. Sure. Totally could be wrong. But my preseason thoughts are that Buffalo finishes behind Miami with the healthy Tua and behind the Jets with a committed Rodgers. That's my thoughts on it. Jump back over here one more time before we call it a night. Lou Mancini says running back. Yes, for sure. Captain Demps, be great if people get off his nuts. He's not as good as people give him credit for. I think he is that talented. I just think he needs help, right? I mean, how many guys can actually, who can do it on their own? Take a look at Jalen Hurts. How great was he as a thrower before A.J. Brown got there? You know, look, we got a team full of Batman, right? I mean, Allen's career didn't really take off until Diggs was added to the mix, right? Look at Tua once Tyreek Hill got there. It's the same time. Look at Joe Burrow when they drafted Jamar Chase the following year. That's the biggest key, Cap, is he's choked in the playoffs. Now, look, there was that shootout game against Kansas City. What was that, the divisional round? That was not his fault. Josh Allen was amazing that night. And with 13 seconds left, had that game won. So you can blame that vaunted Buffalo defense as well. For all the clout, for all the, praise that defense gets, they've come up small in some pretty big spots too. But I do agree with you. Josh Allen has struggled in big spots. He was not good against the Dolphins in that playoff game last year. It started out all right, but wheels came off. And that game ended up close a lot because Josh Allen turned the ball over too much. Anyways, guys, girls, Green Legion faithful, we are at a little over an hour and 20 minutes, and I am starving. So it is going to be time for me to say goodnight. When I see you again next week, we are going to be just 3 weeks away from our trip to Philadelphia. But until then, Captain Demps, Lou Mancini, my mother, Joyce Russ, Warren Downs, Keenan Harmon, Russ Taylor, Lou Dominguez, Jabari Brown, Landlord from Wakanda. Who else am I missing here? I try not to miss anybody. I'm really bad about writing them down. That's the biggest problem. I really need to write them down. And David Califoot, Abel Trevino, and anyone else out there watching, listening, who just didn't want to comment. They just prefer to hear me babble for an hour or so. This has been the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio, part of the Green Legion Radio family. Thank you, as always, for tuning in and giving us an hour or so of your time, or however much time you could give. Folks, we will see you next week at 6 o'clock again. I have no changes there. And we'll be definitely 3 weeks away from our trip to Philly, counting it down. Looking for more restaurant suggestions, kids. Bring them with you next week. Until then, y'all, be good. Be safe. Enjoy your weekend when it comes up as we get through this week's hostage situation. And as always, go Birds! All right, kids, that's enough. Y'all take care. We love you.